Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Thursday, April 15th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am live. Oh, I've got a ton of stuff to show you and talk about tonight, and here we go. So glad you guys could join us. Come on in. What's that song? Come on in, sit right down. Baby, let your hair hang down. Oh, okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everybody that's popping in the door. Are we not blessed or what? Hi, Mary. So to the people that watch these videos on YouTube, just to let you know, during my live broadcasts, I can see comments from people, but when it goes to YouTube, the comments don't show up. So if you're wondering who I'm talking to, other than myself, it's all my peeps that fall in the door during my live broadcast at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 days a week. Okay. Hey, Julie. La, da, 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 da. So good to see everybody. Welcome to the people who come in directly in the room, and welcome to everybody that just hangs out and observes in what I call the balcony. But don't be shy about plopping on down and saying something. Okay, Jeanette St. Jalise. Am I pronouncing that right, Jeanette? Jeanette St. Jalise. Let me get that. Let me look at that name again. Jalise. I'm trying, Jeanette. I really am. Welcome, sweetie. Oh, have I got a bunch of stuff to show you guys tonight? Sloo-doo-doo. Da-dum. Melba, good to see ya. When can we do our broadcast, Melba? Alrighty. So good to see everybody. Oh, Julie says she won't miss our lives for the rest of the month. Okay, is this a good thing at work? Like your shift changed, Julie? Not like you were laid off or something like that? Soon, I promise, says Melba. Maddie says she broke down and got the Forest Girl. Yeah, and there's another one of these too. Okay, so announcements. When is our next event? Somebody please tell me, and when and who it's with. Da-da-dum. Da-da-da-da-da-dum. Yeah, I know, Lila. I know it's expensive in Canada. Oh, Mary says 5 weeks of school and then I can be here more often. Yay, Mary. Oh, wonderful. Hello, Pearl. So who's going to tell me when our next event is? I am being attacked by pencils. Oh, Julie, you changed jobs. Okay. Like within the same company or just like brand new employer? Dawn on the, no, not on the 27th, Mel, but the 20th. Dawn is on the 20th for our duet coloring. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Okay, so Dawn is the duet on the 20th. Good. Okay, just making sure everybody knows. Yeah, my desk does look like it blew up. I've got so many projects that I'm doing, and when I'm uploading videos, I work on stuff, and yeah. So Maddie says she feels better, slight headache, a bit tired, but better. We always love to hear that. Yeah, just to make sure everybody understands, Dawn is the Tuesday, April 20th, so that's coming up real quick. Quickie, quickie, quick. All right, sound check, please. So, now, drum roll. Da 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 da. If you guys are reading your posts, you already know this information, but I'm so proud to announce it. These are the winners of the contest. I'm so proud of you guys. All right, drum roll. Here are the winners of the contest from Jillian. All right, prize number 1 for best use of traditional color wheel scheme on the Great Gatsby is who? Katie. Katie Joyflower Heart got that one. Hold on, let me take my cough drop. Okay. Prize number 2. Best expression of a springtime Easter color palette on the Great Gatsby. And she says, think pastels, vibrant greens, and yellows. And the winner is Lila. How cool is that? And then in parentheses, she says that little butterfly. I really am proud of you guys. Prize number 3, best use of mixed materials on the Fay Queen Coronation. Coming from Australia is JoJo. She won that. Prize number 4, most high fantasy interpretation of the Fay Queen Coronation is, drum roll, da da da, Ashley Harding. Katie, I just announced you as a winner. Did you know that? So Ashley's got prize number 4. Prize number 5. Most entertaining I colored outside of the line submission for either illustration. And that one goes to Melba Carter for her gorgeous scroll work. Did you know that, Melba, that you'd won? Who can tell me who got the grand prize? Who got the grand prize? Anybody know off the top of their head? Hi, Helen. Yeah, I'll work on pulling those up, Pearl. Me, says Maddie. Well, actually, yes, grand prize went to Maddie for her adorable cats. So Maddie gets oh-hoo-hoos. Oh-hoo-hoo, oh-hoo-hoo. So proud of you guys. Who says that this group doesn't give out great prizes? You guys are so blessed. I'm so happy for all of you. Fantastic, guys. Maddie, 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 yay. That is so cool. Absolutely cool. Whoop. As I accidentally cut off my music. I do the dumbest stuff sometimes. So congratulations to everybody. Oh my gosh, bunch of winners. I love it when our guest artists do this. All right. So that's that announcement. I love it. I love it. Don't you just love it, chicka boom, boom, boom. And that's right, Lila. When you're coloring, you're all winners. Now listen. Yeah, and Katie's got a good point, guys. Go back into the files and click on them to blow them up. You can see all the images in the files. So really, that's the best way to do it, because those files won't go away. So that really is the route to go. Okay. Okie dokie. And you can tell what kind of mood I'm in, normally actually. I got Happy Mail today. That's okay, Pearl. I got Happy Mail. It's okay, Pearl, no problem, really. So, I want to thank Julie Claywell for this book, because I put the request out there to purchase it for the group and you guys jumped on it. I really appreciate that. And I think I even got smart and was proactive and put this into our wish list. No, our affiliate list. And I want to thank you guys for that. We are up to $10 in earnings. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This book at the moment was beyond me because I'd gotten so much other stuff. I actually ended up buying some metal shelving because I needed it for the books that we've got for our library. So that put a strain on my budget. So I really appreciate you guys jumping in when I ask for something. I think this is the first time I have specifically asked you for something. I mean, obviously my wish list is there, but when I specifically asked, you guys came through. All right, let me play with the camera a little bit here. I'm going to turn this into a little bit of a lesson tonight. So a while back I was asked about doing coloring about older with older faces, wrinkles. And that is Vicky saying hello. So Miss Julie jumped in, and I mean like immediately jumped in. The words were hardly out of my mouth, and she said, I'll get it. So thank you, Julie. The volume is a little low. Okay. I'll bump it up just a little bit. Well, thank you, Julie. I mean, it is so appreciated. I don't have, as I mentioned, I don't have anybody sponsoring me, which is fine. That's not the point. Okay, so 4, 15, 21. So since I don't have any sponsors, it's really great that you guys jump in. And Lila has sent some stuff, just stuff that wasn't even on the list. But yeah, like I said, this is the first time I specifically asked. So that's very rare for me to do that. So let me put this in here. And what I'm going to be doing today is I am going to do 2 tutorials. So this is a little note thingy that you get from Amazon. So that says Julie Claywell. So cool. We're good here. All right. And I also want you guys to know that Jeff Haney contributed a $50 gift certificate to Amazon. He knew that I had something on my wish list that I need, which is that lamp. And so he has contributed to purchasing that. I actually just laid out, I got that big metal shelf, or a big metal shelf for all my books. That was a little over $100, and that kind of did me in for the moment. And then, of course, Helen contributed, oh my gosh, Helen, $200 to us. So, great. We'll do some way fun stuff with that. Okay, zoom in. So here's what I'm going to show you tonight, and then I'm going to do a little bit of a tutorial around this. We'll see if I can pull it off, because I'm not an illustrator, but I want to hopefully see if I can show you this. So the idea, and I'm going to be using this drawing when I do the tutorial, but this is the book now that we have. It is grayscale, and these are the different faces. And this is really, yeah, this picture with the cigar. This is really going to show you some neat techniques on how to work with images of aging people. All right. Hey, Dawn. Dawn is in the room. So let me page through this relatively promptly. This reminds me, you know those cats that don't have any fur? That's it. That's what these remind me of. I don't want anybody kicking and screaming about grayscale because of the way I teach it to you. It's not hard. It's just different. Oh, and by the way, when I bought that shelving, I bought it through the affiliate, so that contributed back to us as well. All right. So these images are absolutely gorgeous. I love the close-ups of these. Just really neat stuff. And just like on this grayscale, we could get our chalks out and do some nice yellows here, golds and yellows. And then probably a little bit of green in the background here. Beautiful, beautiful skin tones. And I love the texture on these here. And this is what I want to show you about the coloring. This one I have seen, I think, on Pixby. Look at this one. I love it. Ears and eyes. But there's a lot to be said for the eyes. Whenever you're doing an image, guys, the eyes are what's going to make it. I mean, these backgrounds are fabulous. You see how that's blurred? You color that up, you emphasize the front, boom. Just beautiful stuff. Oh, Stacy, what happened with your animals? All right, let me see. Oh, okay, I see it. So both of them had their surgery. Yeah. Got it. Look at that, guys. Zoom in. Zoom in. I mean, just look at this. Texture on it is absolutely gorgeous. Now, the other thing that I want you to understand too, while I'm showing you these, because listen guys, I do everything for a specific purpose. And what I want you to see here is this shading in the eyes and the skin. So take note of that. And if my little demonstration and tutorial doesn't go weird, you'll see what I mean. I love these images. They're super sharp. A lot of things that you can do with them. Now the paper in this book is very thin. Look at that. Can you imagine, guys, doing this in blues with those sharp, piercing blue or green eyes? Probably blue. And the thing that I really like about this book is the variety is outstanding. You don't really see one particular theme in it. Love this. Look at the smile. And look at this, guys. Here's where you have your wrinkles in here. love this one. Oh, and see, this would be a good one for me to do where, remember I did the pearls for you that one time? This would be beautiful to color this up in some really nice colors. Look at that. There's a really good close-up. And you know, it's just so nice to see pages anyway of images from just people and different images. It's almost fun to guess what they're thinking of at the time. Yeah, I'll do one of them that's got more of the wrinkles. That's right. Is that what you mean, Lila? What do you mean? I love the look between these two people. So what you're saying is when I do one that's got a lot of wrinkles on it. Yeah. I got it. Beautiful image here. Zoom in. Okay. Well, Katie, that's why I'm here, to teach you guys this stuff. Again, not hard. It's not hard, just different, right? Everybody repeat after me. Grayscale is not hard, comma, it's just different. Yeah, so Helen's talking about her book, How to Draw and Shade, as opposed to coloring in a picture. Yeah. Look at this. And the fact that these are actual images, guys. Thank you, Melissa. Grayscale is not hard, comma, it's just different. Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. And then here's our color test page, and then all the other books that they got. Life Escapes has got a ton of grayscale. Zoom out, zoom out. There you go, Julie. Grayscale is not hard, it's just different. Zoom out. Good, good, good. Glad to see you guys typing it out. Write it on a piece of paper and put it on your mirror in the bathroom. Grayscale is not hard, it is just different. Okay, and the book in the back has some of these images as finished, so you can get some ideas. Look at that one. This is the one. Zoom in. Zoom in. So here's the one that we saw to give you a guide. Okay. Zoom out. Zoom out. Okay. So I'm going to show you a little quick example. Keep in mind this is off the cuff and quick. This is probably going to make Helen cringe when I do this. Okay. Zoom in. Zoom in. Oh, that's a good point about that cap, Lila. Now, I'm going to be doing this on a Hannah Carlzon picture. I'm going to age the drawing for you, and then I'm going to color it. But I want to show you basically what's going on with this. So you've got your eye. And we've got him. I'm going to go ahead and just add that little extra line at the moment where the lid goes back, right? This is pretty basic. Zoom in. And then I'm going to go ahead and emulate the eye off to the side. Oops. I'm going to put in just a little bit of shading on this eye here and put the pupil in. Now, here's what I want to show you. The question is, how do we go ahead and start to show age on this? I actually should have done this a little lower, but that's okay. So really, all we're going to do now, I want you to see how simple and straightforward this is. You'll see where I'm going with this in a second. Okay, everybody see where I'm starting to go with this? Keep this in focus. Pull you out just a little bit. And then I'm going to do the bottom area right here. And I'm going to go ahead and add a few lines. Now remember, this would be colored in, guys. Let's see here. And again, forgive me, I'm not an artist. I work with stuff that's already been drawn. But I'm doing this to make a point, other than the fact that I cannot draw. And what I want you to see is aging skin is all in the shading. Everybody see that? So by adding just that little bit of shading and a few lines underneath this, I have aged the eye. Everybody see that? Let me clean something up. Not hard, guys. And then, of course, you can go down the face and add some more. All aging is, yeah, age can be darker around the eyes, exactly. So now, back up at the lid here, I'm going to go ahead and darken this just a little bit. Okay, everybody see this? So let me go ahead and draw this eye again. Oh, good grief, I'll tell you. Without aging it. Everybody see the difference? Zoom out. So here we have an older person, and that's just a matter of adding a few lines. So this indicates an older eye. This indicates a younger eye. And then, as Helen is saying, you just smudge it and do your highlights and the whole bit. But I'm not here to sketch the eye. I'm just here to show you the addition of these lines to make the piece. Now, if you were sketching, that's where you would follow what Helen is recommending. Anybody have any questions or comments about that? So anybody that has heebie-jeebies about working like this, and again, this is where I'm going to take, again, I think it's a Hannah Carzan, I gotta find it. And you want to go ahead and add your lines, and then I'll color that in. Okay? Is that helping anybody? Yes, no. Now, it looks a little wonky at the moment because you don't really have the other parts of the face to balance it out. Let me find my brush. So yeah, guys, it's that simple. So now we have an old eye and we have a young eye, a youngster eye. Zoom in. Zoom in. Now, if we wanted to do that again, just for giggles and laughs, here's where you'd want to go ahead and add your additional lines. That's all it is, guys, is it's just this shading. It is easy, Stacy. There you go. And remember, I'm going to be having, when I do this for you, which actually I'll probably make it my next project. When I do this for you, I'm going to have the basic face there, and then I'm going to do the add-ons. Now, if you want to add a little more pouchiness here, you can. There you go. And we got a wonky looking person here with totally two different eyes and a weird nose in the middle. But you get the point. Okay? So let's look at this example here. Zoom in. So when you have your basic eye, which is right there, okay, and then you've got your eyeball. Now what you're going to do, hi Rhonda, now what you're going to do is this is where you're going to shade in with your gray to start showing that depth and to show the folds. The shading tricks you in the line art that you're looking at folds, right? Because when you have something that's dark, dark, that's indicating a recess. Not to be confused with elementary school. So every time that line is drawn in here, your brain is going, oh, okay, it's recessed. Recessed. I'm screwing myself up. Okay, see that? So then you can draw your little lines here. And then, of course, you would take your pencil. Okay, now here the shadow indicates too that you've got a depth, so that's how that nose is showing up. And then we have a little bit of shading right here coming into the eye. But see, if you draw a prominent line that's dark and then bring out a couple more and put one up here, boom. Zoom out. Now, let's look at the face a minute. If you have a forehead, I don't know if I can pull this off. Let's see if I can do this. Again, I'm not an artist, guys. Okay. Zoom out. So I've drawn a little bit here is I've just made the U of the face and the line with the hat. So now if you add your lines, let me fold this. Anywhere now that you go ahead and add your lines. Okay, see how this is way out of proportion, but it gives you the idea, okay? So let me go ahead and do my eye real quick here. Please don't laugh me off camera. And then we put a few little pouches underneath here. Zoom in. And then this is where you can shade it. Now, again, we're not drawing it, but you would shade that with like a gray pencil. Let me grab a pencil here. So this is where now I would take a gray pencil if I were coloring this, and I would go ahead now, because I've got my basic line down, is I'm going to go ahead and get some depth in there. Look at that. So now you can see where this gray pencil is giving you that illusion. And then if I were coloring this, and this is really off the cuff now, if I were coloring this, this is where I would bring in my flesh coloring. And color up the rest of the face. Does all this make sense? Again, I am not an artist, I'm a colorist. Let me reframe that. I am an artist, I'm a colorist. I'm not a sketch artist. Questions, comments? And then, of course, this is where you can go ahead and start, let's see here. Zoom in. And this is where now you can go ahead and add your eye colors. You want the lighter at the bottom and then a little bit of darker at the top. Okay? Now, all of this, zoom out. All of this will make sense when I do the actual aging on a pre-drawn image. I just wanted to show you this real quick and to show you what the concept is. Questions, comments? And And then, of course, this is where I showed you that I took a plain eye and then showed you how a few lines underneath made it look really cool. Exactly what Melba says. You're going to blend out your wrinkles. You don't want stark lines. Everything that I've talked about this before in coloring. You never, ever, ever want stark lines. And again, this is all really going to make sense when I do this on the drawing and age. I'm going to age a pretty young girl and we'll make her older. Okay? Everybody see how cool that's looking? I see. Very good, Julie. Oops. Wrong color. Wrong color. So this is not a lesson on how to draw eyes. This is a lesson on how eventually we're going to age an existing image. All right. Oops, don't want to do that on top of there. All right. Everybody see how much better that looks now? Questions, comments? Not too bad, not too shabby. Zoom out. There you go. So please concentrate on the wrinkles and not the lousy job I did on the eye. I am not an illustrator. Okay. But I do drop my pencils while I'm on air. All right. So that is that. This is an upcoming lesson, probably as soon as tomorrow. Julie, thanks again. And it was because of you I was able to do this, so I really appreciate that. All right. Next little mini tutorial. I'm going to pull out my gouache paints and I'm going to play with a couple things in that. Specifically, I've got the Forest Girls coloring book. And what I did is I photocopied this image, so that's why it's got the gray on it. Oop, let's get that. Come on. There we go. So I've been wanting to play with this. And this is a neat little book because it copies well. Everybody see that side to side? So this is coming out a little gray. This is a little bit more tan, but no big deal. The detail comes out really well, especially on the copier that I have, or yeah, on the printer copier that I have. Okay. So let me go ahead and stink up my studio. This is my Krylon fixative. And I gotta tell you, this stuff is pretty tough because really you're supposed to let it dry a while, 1 to 2 hours. But you know me, sometimes it's like spray and then color right on top of it. Okay, this is the set that I was able to get. Helen helped us with that when she put up a gift certificate. Yeah, I'm going to be high in a minute. I hope not. Either that or throwing up. So here is 60 of the gouache colors. And these are the these are the Arteza, whatever you want to call them. And I don't think you can get the 60 here in the States. This came from the UK. So I'm thrilled to have these. Thank you, Helen. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play around with these colors. Now, I picked up these little tins that you can put your colors in. My oops seriously cracks me up. And the reason I got the tins that I did is I got the lighter color for my, reds, yellows, yada, yada, yada. And then I got the blue for my greens, violets, browns. And that way I keep my colors different. I don't know, I may put browns in here, we'll see. Okay. But for the moment, I'm going to go ahead and use my little palettes that I have. And if anybody wants to come over to my house and help me put my shelving together, feel free. It's going to be a trip. Hopefully not a literal trip while I'm hauling these shelves upstairs to my studio. So these tubes are a little bit smaller than the acrylics that I got. For my metallics, I mean. Here's the metallic tube, and here is the gouache. So you can see it's a little smaller, but that's okay, whatever. The gouache tube does not fit in that container there. Excuse me, metallic fit in that container. And the neat thing is once you use these colors, you can re-energize them again. So they will last quite a bit. But my plan at the moment is to use so little, because this is more for demonstration purposes right now. So I'm going to pull a few colors that I think will work. And these I will swatch in my notebook. All right, that's good for now. So I'm going to start with, this is called Mid Yellow, zoom in. And I'm going to put a little, these are gouache and the other are metallic acrylic paints. Now, I'm experimenting with these. Have not used them before. Melba, you're our expert on paints. And I'm going to get myself a little bit of water. I'm so proud of myself. These are my original cups that I got, these plastic cups. You know, I told you I hate waste, and so I've been using them, and I got that tall stack, and these are the first two I pulled. I'm still using them. So I'm going to go ahead now and protect my back here underneath. Melba, you still with us? So I'm going to wet my brush, and I'll go ahead and put a little bit of water in with this. And then I'm going to go ahead and put it in another palette cup. Melba, the question came up, what's the difference between the gouache and the acrylic, the metallic acrylic? Now, I'm going to add even more water to this. And I may even carry it over into another cup here. Well, the gouache paints are meant to be re-energized with water. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to spread a very light coloring on this book. But you can use them full strength, right, Melba? Hold this. Hold on, gotta find a brown. Gotta find a brown. Looking for love. Looking for brown in all the wrong places. And the thing is, guys, you don't need a lot of paint. So I'm going to take a little bit of this brown. And I'm going to pop in just a little bit of brown into my cup. Don't need much. In fact, that is probably way too much. And I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of this and pop in a little bit of brown water. I mean, I am really thinning this out. I could even go, hi Ronnie. I mean, I have added a ton of, there you go. I've added a ton of water to this cup right here. Teeny tiny amount of paint. And then I'm going to go through and put it on here. Now, the neat thing about gouache is you can re-energize it. Exactly what Melba just said. Yes, I did spray. So now I'm going over this with a little bit of water, and that is re-energizing, and what that means is it's making it pliable to do things with. So this stuff is really neat because you can do a lot with it. And I really like the fact that it plays well with water. So we can go thick all of the way, or we can just go ahead really, really thin. Now, I don't want you to be watching this video and saying, why am I watching this? Because I'm here for coloring. We are coloring, guys. We're just using a different medium. But I'm also going to show you how I'm going to combine colored pencil with the paint. And it is really, really neat how you don't need a lot of paint at all to make your thinner coloring. So what I'm going to do, since I've already done this, is I've made a puddle. Yeah, and Melba mentioned with watercolor you cannot re-energize it. So that's the neat thing about this. And that's the difference. So if I were to let this dry and then come back a week later, I could go ahead and re-energize it on the paper, minus what has soaked in, and still do things with it. Okay. Zoom out. Oh. And I'm putting just a, oh, even that's too much. So I'm going to take my water and swish it off to the side here. I'm getting there, Stace. Zoom in. Now I'm grabbing a little more fuller strength of the paint of this bluish green, and on top of this area that I put the wash of the blue of the green, I'm now going back and putting in a higher strength. Okay. So there are so many neat things that you can do with this stuff, and that's what I wanted to show you. So a little dab of the purple here. Going to pull it off to the side. I mean, again, this little dab here, way too more than what I need. Tiny, tiny amounts, guys. And the reason that I'm using this, it depends. Is there a way to thin it out once you've applied? Stace, wrong attitude. You can ask questions. If I'm not quite there yet, I'll let you know. You know better than that. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going back and adding a little fuller strength. Okay, wait a minute. Oh yeah, the unused paint, that's exactly right. Is you're supposed to save it. And yes, Ronnie, once it's applied, you can, if it hasn't soaked into the water too far, I could put more water on this. Keep the questions coming. If I miss it, Melba or Helen, I'm sure, will be more than happy to answer it. All right, let me pull a good brown. What I really want is a gold. Yeah, once it dries, you add water and you can use it again. That's why, and I will add these to the list, that's why you want those little containers that I showed you earlier, because even though this brown, if this starts to dry out, all I have to do is add water and it comes back to life again. Get rid of that yellow. So let me go ahead and dab in a little gold. I mean, see how teeny tiny that dab is right there, guys? That's all you need. And in fact, I'm going to take a little bit of the gold and I'm going to pop that on the page. And here I just took some water, and with the paint that was already on my brush, this is the paint that comes out. Now, the reason that I thought that this book would be perfect for this is because it's a delicate book, images, and I wanted the colors in it to be delicate. You can get the same look with colored pencil. Zoom out, zoom out. Now, I want you to watch this. This area right here where I put the paint, I got it a little thick in color. So I'm putting a damp brush to it, and here, it's re-energized again, and now I can spread it out. Everybody see that? I didn't do the sides of my book. So, you don't need a lot of paint. You don't need a lot of water. I mean, I just dabbled right now in my little paint tin here and re-energized that paint to get the spots that I mixed. How would I lighten it if I got it too dark? I would put, I mean, you can only do that to a point, but I would put a little water on there on my brush. Here, Stace, I'll show you. Zoom in. Zoom in. So this brown that I've got up here, I'm going to spread that out a little more. I mean, obviously you can only lighten so far, but see what I'm doing, Stace? And another thing I can do is you can put one color on top of another. So you might, I'm putting this yellow on top of it. And that'll lighten that up. So see, Helen and I were saying the same thing. Add white. So let me play around with a couple more colors here. I'm having too much fun with this. Let's see here. Okay, here is a top. And I'm telling you guys, you do not need much paint at all. There, see that little dab I put on there? That's it. A little goes a long way. Now, I have some natural, I've already got a little bit of moistness on my brush. So now I'm going to go ahead and apply that to the side. Of this book. Now, I'm getting a little blotchier than what I want. So this is where I would go ahead and a little dab will do ya. So Stacy, this is where I would go ahead and add more water to thin this out and get rid of that blotchiness. Okay, what am I doing? Oh, there's a bookmark there. Okay. Brill cream. Oh yeah, you guys remember those commercials? A little dab will do ya. All right, now notice how I've got a little more of the paint at the top here to make it darker at the top and the bottom. But wait, there's more. Give me a chance to get there. Okay, so got that. Okay. This paint is extremely forgiving and it's fun. Okay, now this second book here I'm feeling is a little bit darker than I want. So I'm going to go ahead and thin it with water. And then I'm going to take my paper towel and dab it up. Zoom in. See how when I dabbed it up, it pulled a really big portion of the color up? So that's another thing you can do, is pull it up and get it off your area. So it's like watercolor. Melba or Helen, do you want to take that question? So it's like watercolor, only thicker and not as running. I'm using soft brushes. These are my cheapy brushes. See that? In my own opinion, I don't think you want a super stiff, well, let me take that back. It depends what you're working on. You may want a stiffer brush. Up to you. But see, on that top book, I had that darker paint. So I just wet it up. I took my paper towel and just blotted it up. Because I screwed it up. Whee! Yeah, you could use watercolor paper. All right, now watch this. I'm going to put a little bit of this purple, and then I'm going to go back and grab up a little bit of my bluish green. Melba or Helen, how would you define the difference between gouache and watercolor? Zoom out. Now, again, I've got some streaks in there, so I'm going to add a little bit of my water and get rid of those. Or if you had painted this and wanted them back, yeah, Helen, you can answer that question. Either one of you. What's the difference between gouache and watercolor? Personally, so far, I like the gouache. And this stuff is great for layering. Yeah, watercolor, one thing cannot be re-energized. And the gouache is opaque if you want to use it as an opaque paint. So you see, gouache can be made to function like watercolor. You get like a twofer, right? Zoom out. Everybody see how cool that looks and how light and fairyish. Gouache you can re-energize with water. So when this dries, I can come back to it tomorrow and wet it up again and do things with it. No, gouache can always be re-energized. That's why you got to be careful with it. So if you drop something on it wet, you're going to get spots with it. What are you confused, Maddie? You can make gouache operate like watercolor, but you can't make watercolor operate like gouache. I could make all this thicker without the water. I'm making my thicker gouache out of my tube function like watercolor. Don't know about after spraying it, but probably stays. I'm going to say a qualified yes, that even after spraying, you could re-energize it. Okay, let's give this little girl an outfit. Yeah, and that's basically dry right now. So let me do this, is I'm going to color her in straight color. In other words, I'm not going to thin it down. So let's see what kind of trouble we can get into with that. And that way you will see the difference between this stuff at full boat strength and thinned. Melba, try what on a separate piece of paper, please? There you go, Maddie. Watercolor is translucent, gouache is opaque, but acts like watercolor in that it needs the water. Exactly. There you go. That's why I was saying earlier you get a twofer. So I've got a nice dark blue here. Thank you, Helen. Let me put it to you this way. If I spilled water on this, all of this would run. All right, little blotch of blue. And I'm telling you guys, you don't need much paint at all. I mean, just a teeny tiny amount. And see, if I were putting this, okay, those little cuppy things that I showed you earlier. Is you dot your color into these cuppy things full strength. Okay? And then that's where you can get your color. You just re-energize it. But for this purpose here, in teaching, I want to do it in my little palette here. All right, zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. So now I'm going to use this full strength on her dress. And this is where a little goes a long way. And if you'll notice, I can thin this out a little bit. And the thinning is naturally happening because as I spread the paint, it gets a little bit thinner. And that's good for this skirt. Everybody see how I've got that light and dark on this? Okay. Maddie says she's won the grand prize and now has no excuse about markers. That's right. So I've got a lighter blue now that I'm going to go ahead and do on this top. And as I'm painting, I'm letting it thin out a little bit. Now, the neat thing about this, I'm painting this in such a way to have it look painted. In other words, I'm letting the strokes show, if that makes sense. Good night, Helen. Let's see here. A little hard to find this. Okay. Melba, you still with us? Now, if I feel like I've got too much blue on that top, I can go ahead and dampen my brush. Okay, watch this. Dampen my brush, dampen the paint, and then pull it up with a paper towel. Everybody see that? And I could be doing that a week from now if I wanted to. John Boy too. And guys, the really fun thing about this is that it makes it look like a painting. I mean, that's why I wanted this book, and that's why I wanted this paint. I've been planning on this for a while now, so I could show this to you. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of my brown. And again, I just only had to do a very light dip into my paint palette here. See that here? I can't emphasize again enough how versatile this is when it comes to re-energizing it and using that water with it. That's right, it's not running into anything. So you can say that I've been planning this demonstration for a while now. I hope you're enjoying it. I had to wait for these paints to arrive from England. I was so excited when they got here. And see, I can dip into parts of the paint over here and then apply it in other areas on her hair. So if you think that you're a little thick with it someplace, just dip into it and reapply. So I've got a little puddle here on the left, which is fine. I'm just going to let that dry. Not long, Wanda. That little puddle that I made over here on the left, probably, I don't know, 10 minutes. I mean, I can't tell you, on my little palette here, I mean, I put way too much paint on there. Just a teeny tiny dab will do ya. It's pretty cool. Arteza 60 gouache, Amazon 45. Okay. I'll add it to the affiliate list if you guys don't mind waiting. Okay. Yeah, that's the full set, Stace. Zoom out. Zoom out. Good night, Ronnie. Nope, doesn't go through to the other side of the paper. And it looks like I missed a little bit of the book, so let me fix that. But wait, there's more. All right, everybody see how cool that looks? Yeah, you can paint, okay, in the coloring book, it would probably go through Stace. Good night, Rebecca. So like anything else, you need to assume that it will go through and see what it does. Do it on a test page. Okay, so here's what I want to show you also. So here's my little paint palette that I have my purple and my green in. Zoom in. I better get some fresh water to do this. Give me a second. Yeah, don't confuse it with the metallic set. This is gouache paint. It's not metallic. Oh, good, Rhonda. I'm glad it helped you. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit. I've got fresh water. I'm going to dip my brush in there. There you go. Now I've got some purple to work with. Everybody see that? So that stuff had dried. I can go back and re-energize it. That's the fun part of this stuff. No, metallic is not gouache. Nope, 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 nope. All right, so I'm going to wet all this. I'm doing this for a reason. I stand corrected. There's metallic wash. Okay. Good. Thanks for letting us know. Okay, so I'm going to, yeah, the metallic, you should be able to re-energize it, I would think. I don't know. Ask Melba. Okay. So I'm going to pull out some greens. And again, you only need a teeny, teeny, tiny dot. Teeny weeny, what is it? Teeny, no. She wore a yellow polka dot bikini. Yeah, just like Melba mentioned, that's the hallmark of gouache, is you can re-energize it. And again, guys, you don't need a lot. Now, I don't have running water up here in my studio, which is no big deal. So really, all you need is the cup of water. Well, Katie, you can always go back and watch, this video we'll post. Okay, now watch this. But wait, there's more. So I've got a few dabbles of green in my palette tray here. And I'm going to dampen my brush, just a tiny bit of water. Zoom in. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to hit the green leaves with it. Zoom out. Again, a little dabble of water. I'm thinning out this paint. Zoom in. I'm thinning out this paint to be ridiculously thin. Here's where you can make it look like watercolor. I'm almost sorry I did this on scrap paper. Oh, let's get you focused. And again, if this stuff dries in between, just dabble a little water on it in your palette tray and you're good to go. Now, I'm still going to show you a couple more things with this. Let's see here. They are very vibrant, Stace. Zoom out. Now I'm going to use just a little bit of a darker green. Oh my gosh. Teeny tiny bit, guys. Don't need a lot. And I'm mixing that lighter green with a little bit of the darker green. And again, this stuff is so flexible, you can go back and wet it again and do more. Okay, so Melba says if you were using gouache and wanted something with spots, wet the area you want spotted, then put gouache on your brush and just fit it on the wet area. It should not run. I would try this on whatever paper. Okay, I may do that. Okay, wet the area you want spotted. Let me do that. I'm game. I'm gamey too. Oh, didn't get my shot today. Oops. Okay. So, zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, so I'm going to try that, Melba. Is just wet a little spot and take some green. Oh, there we go. Everybody see that? I'm doing it two ways. I just put a little water or just put it directly on the paper. I did it both ways, Melba. But I'm also going to go ahead and do this. Oh my gosh, guys, there's just so much you can do with this. Now, zoom out. So you can see that my green here has dried and it's starting to crack. That's what Melba was saying. You can't put this paint on thick. Okay, so now I'm just going to take a tad bit of my water and I'm just going to re-energize it. See how I'm doing that? And I'll do that on the edge. I'll leave this top part there just in case I want to do something else with it. Now, if your color is a little bit darker than what you want, then just take your paper towel. There you go. See that? This stuff is so versatile. You can dry it and wet it and dry it and play. But wait, there's more. Oops, suppose it would help if I stayed on camera. Zoom out. Zoom out. Sorry. And this is where I would take my pen and draw in a couple of more flying leaves, but I'm not going to do that right now. I hope you guys are having fun watching this. Now, notice when I'm brushing this, that the color zoom in, Come on, zoom in. Notice how I've got a dark streak there? I want that. So I can go back and maybe add a couple of dark streaks to my other pieces here. Now, you might say, well, why not use marker? Because with marker, you're not going to quite have the flexibility. I mean, you could streak it, but this is fun too. And guys, I'm not a painter. I'm really not. Hey, would somebody do me a favor and message me the link to the gouache that you guys found for the 60 color? Yeah, the looseness of the brush and the paint is really nice, Maddie. I figured you'd like that. Zoom out. Zoom out. I really hope that you guys can see what flavor now this whole painting is being created with this. Now, Maddie was talking about painting outside of the lines. You could do this with your colored pencil too. All right, notice how I hit that with my paper towel just to lighten it a little bit? And I mean, my gosh, guys, I can't say this enough. This paint, I mean, it lasts and it lasts and it lasts. I mean, I am hardly using any of this. And my little palette here where I've got all my colors, is working beautifully. It's letting me put on my water and coming up with the shade that I want. Now, we were talking about this stuff cracking, okay? Yeah, you do. Yes, yes, Stacy, you get natural shading. And I can't wait to try this out on grayscale. So Melba was talking a little bit about this stuff, that if you put it on too thick, it can crack. Well, guys, for what we're doing with coloring books, I don't see that happening. Zoom in. Okay, where'd my other leaf go? There we go. Now, if you put on some paint, I did this earlier, and it's too dark and your lines disappear, hit it with your paper towel. Stacy, you were asking me how to make this stuff lighter earlier. Guessing about the grayscale? No, I don't think it would pull up the gray in the grayscale at all. No. The Stacy, the full strength on her skirt did not crack at all. And the really neat thing about this painting, and I haven't talked about it too much, is if you go in with one color, like I am with this green down here, because this stuff re-energizes, you can come in with a second color and blend it in to get a unique look. And I'll do that with this piece right here, this stalk. So I've got my olive green here. And I'm going to come back with my brighter green. Now, I'm going to let that olive green dry a little bit. And then when I come back in with my second green, that creates a whole different green. Now here's a little gob of gold, yellow. See that? Dry. Look at that. It's even flaking. See that? So now I'm going to take my water. And as soon as I put my water in there, it came back up. See that? So at first I was disappointed that those tubes were very small. I'm using the same brush between colors and I'm cleaning it, yeah. Yes, Stacy, I am. Zoom in. And see on this here where I did the flowers, the author's line stopped there. I took it further. Now, please understand that you can stay in the lines if you want to. Okay, Julie, thank you. As soon as I'm done broadcasting, I'll put it up. And the brushes are so ridiculously easy to clean. Now, let me show you something here. Zoom out. Zoom out. So here's my cup of water and paint that I've been doing. So all I'm going to do now is just stick my paper towel in there and wipe it out. That's how easily this stuff cleans up. Thanks, Julie. Listen, you guys, I absolutely love how you support me. That when I ask you for a link or information, you guys are right on top of it. I love you guys for it. I respect you guys for it. And I'm so proud of you because you are so welcoming to guests that come in here, and you support them as well. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a little bit of color here in reds. Now, for tonight, I'm going to get a fresh palette out because I don't want to take the time to clean this right now. Ooh, there's a pretty color. Pretties. These are pretties. Okay, so I'm going to take 4 colors just because I want to play. Boom. One little tiny drop. See it? Just a little splat. All I'm doing is taking the tip of the tube and I'm bopping it on my palette once. Everybody see that? Oh, that's bright. I'm not going to be using that one, I don't think. Unless I tone it down. Melba, you still with us? My desk looks like my Arteza box blew up. Okay, so I'll get some fresh water. So are you guys enjoying this? Yes, no, maybe? Because I'm not even half done with this. Zoom in. Melba, jump in. If I miss something or say something that's not quite right, zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, so I'm going to put a teeny tiny amount of water on my brush, and then I'm just going to tap it on my paper towel, just the excess off. And I'm going to get some of this red. Changed my mind, hold on. I'm going to get some of this really bright pink, because now I want to experiment with this. Oh, I love it, Stace. And like I said, you know better about asking questions. I don't want you guys sitting there saying, oh, I'll just be quiet and listen. No, you ask your questions, guys. Zoom out. Okay, so I've got this fluorescent pink. Definitely an experiment here. Now, even though I'm painting here, I'm still putting my hand on a paper towel, okay? So I'm going to take this oh my gosh, they're so bright. So I'm going to take this fluorescent paint, pink, and put it on these flowers. Holy moly. Hit that with a paper towel. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's a better pink than what I thought it would be. Zoom in. And then I'm going to take a little teeny tiny bit of red. So I'm just going to dampen my brush again. Add a dot of white. Okay, give me a second. And I'm just going to add just a little bit of red to this. And does everybody see now how that red and that pink is coming together with this? I mean, for that matter, I could just confine the red to maybe a half to 2/3 of the flower. See how I'm doing that and streaking that on there? Oh, Julie, don't stress. You know, guys, there's just so much junk going on in the world that we need to find ways to make ourselves happy. All right, everybody see how that little bit of red on that pink is looking really cool? And that brings me to a different topic, or another thought for you, is if you use a light color on top, and then a darker color on, a lighter color on the bottom, and then a darker color on top, look what we're able to do. Melba, where do you want me to put that white? So see, I'm just taking my red now and hitting a couple spaces on that pink. And look what that's doing now. Isn't that cool? And I haven't even gotten to the second half of what I wanted to show you guys here. I've been having too much fun playing with this paint. Oh, just if I wanted to lighten my pink, this looks good. Cool. I'll leave it. Well, I could put white on there to show what happened. I think I've got white. I've got white rose. You know what, Melba? I don't know if I have a pure white in this stuff. Oh, yes, I do. That would be funny. Oh, no, that's not white. Well, shiver me timbers, unless I'm really missing it. I am not seeing a white. Okay, well, this is a pearl white. That is weird. Oh, you got to thank Jeff Haney because he was saying that he was, oh yeah. I'll check and see if I've got the white. Oh, that's cool, Julie. Oh, fine. Thank Jeff. Okay, well, I can't find the white right now. I'm not going to worry about it. We'll get there. So anyway, this is how I'm doing my little flowers. Zoom out. Now, remember my green that I was working with here? Totally dried from my other palette. So, I take a little dab of water and I run it in there. Boom. I got green again. Now, I don't want to hear anybody say, I honestly don't know how I stumbled across Mama Hen over a year ago on Facebook. I'm so glad I did. Yeah, that's right. If you guys don't know, I'm known as Mama Hen. Check the color chart on the back of the box. Duh. Thank you. Hi, Daniel. Sandra, what would I do without you? Of course, check the box. Oh my. Hold on. Okay. Silver, pearl, apricot, gray, burnt umber, blue, green. Oh, titanium white. We got her. Okay, so I re-energized my paint here. And I'm going to pull in a little bit of this darker green right here just because. So I'm going to re-energize that and then mix it in. The Van Gogh tin in the affiliate, I will, Julie. And then I'm going to go through and I'll just go ahead, zoom in. Zoom in. Nice to see you, Daniel. Yeah, Daniel, I could see using these paints on your illustrations as well. Did you edit your post? Zoom out. So that post that Daniel put up, that's part from his coloring book that Jillian is publishing and will be released very soon. So I just asked him to clarify that, because then what you guys can do is buy his coloring book after we feature it here. Zoom out. No, I didn't take it down. It's there. If you ever have any question like that, check with me directly. What do you guys think so far? Isn't that cool? But wait, there's more. I don't do things behind people's back, Daniel. So no, if there had been an issue, I would have told you. I just want you to clarify your post so that everybody can see that you've got a coloring book coming out. I love this. I'm so in love with this piece right now. Like I said, I'm kicking myself I didn't do it in the original book, but that's okay. All right. So now, here's what else I want to show you. Zoom in. Oh, for all of you guys that are using colored pencils and tuning in and saying, what's going on here? This is painting. Well, first of all, I color with a lot of different things. And that's how I expand your horizons. Oh, there it is. I found it. It was right to my right. Titanium white. And not only do I have a titanium white, but I have a plain white. Isn't that cool? So, before I do this, I'm going to go back to my tulips because I want to show you this because it's cool. Yeah, you can color with tea. You can color with coffee, Coca-Cola. And I think Daniel's things would lend themselves to this. Daniel, you still with us? Don't disappear without saying goodbye. Oh, Melba's back. Good. Melba, I found the white. Look at that. White and titanium white. I was given the suggestion to check the lid of the box, which was one of those duh things I hadn't thought of. Oh my. That's why you guys love me. All right. I want to do one more thing on these tulips. Is I'm going to take a little bit of the, you know, actually, let's do it this way. I'm going to take, yeah, it took somebody saying, hey, ILene, check the box, you know? That's okay. I get wrapped up in what I'm doing. You guys know that. Daniel, you still with us? Oh, he fixed it. Okay. So you said that this drawing is from your upcoming book, Daniel, that is being published by Jillian from Jolt Book. Zoom in. Oh, Lila, that's the surprise. I'm going to be doing a walkthrough on it when it comes out. We're in the process. That's why Daniel's going to be coming on camera. Okay. Book has not been published or has not been released on Amazon yet. As soon as it is, we'll let you know. Okay, so now I'm going to take a little bit of white. Everybody see what I'm doing it? Zoom in. All right, hopefully this isn't too close. It may be. Zoom out. All right, everybody see that touch of white that I've got on this? Daniel's book is being launched through our group, guys. That's the exciting thing. So Jillian wanted me to do that, and that's what we're doing. We are featuring Daniel. And his book will be shown for the very first time through us. So that's the exciting part. All right, everybody see here? Aha. Daniel's got a lot of things cooking, and we're going to be showing that and featuring that. So we're keeping secrets right now, Daniel. We'll talk about that when we get you on camera. All right, everybody see what I did with the flowers. You like it? Thumbs up, thumbs down, neutral. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. All right, let me grab some water. Hey guys, we'll be discussing all that when Daniel comes on camera. So now what I'm going to do, and this is what I wanted to show you earlier, is I'm going to take pencil, zoom in, and now I'm going to, yay, look at this, start coloring in the edges of my book. So we've got, see how I'm doing that here? Isn't that cool? Look at that. Turn your pencils, of course. And what we can also do with this is I can go ahead now and add a little bit of streaking with the brown. Not much. So this is where my paint is that I painted in earlier. And here's the really cool thing, guys. Zoom in. Let's see how close I can get. Do you guys see how smooth now this background is? There is no way that you would get that with your pencil. And that's why this paint is going to be so cool for doing projects like this. I want you to think of gouache paint almost like a liquid pencil. Zoom out. That's right, I'm going to tell you to wait, Stace. We're pretty excited about featuring Daniel. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm back on the cover, and I'm going to shade that cover a little bit. Dimension, dimension, right? And then I'm going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to take a darker brown. I do like you guys excited. What do I always say? But wait, there's more, right? Hold on, I'm just looking for a very dark brown here. There we go, that's what I want. All right, so now I've got a very, very dark brown. Now, again, even though I painted this, right, I'm still gonna keep my hand on a paper towel or cloth or something. And now I'm going through on the edge of this book. Daniel, you still with us? And just add a little bit of that shading, which is going to give us that dimension. Oh my gosh, if you guys thought my desk looked bad before, you ought to see this. I have got paint tubes like all over here. Holy moly. He said be right back a minute ago. Okay. Thank you. Whoops. You guys ought to see my desk, my art table. It is a wreck. All right. And the thing that I really like about this, zoom in, and I hope you can see this, is see where the edges of the paper are right here? I'm not even going to color that in at all because we want that to be soft. So what's happening now between this paint and the colored pencils, look how authentic that looks now. Zoom out. There you go, look at that. You want me to show you my desk? Oh my gosh. I think that this is the messiest that my desk has been. Okay. Zoom out. I mean, look at that, guys. Look how this looks now with this paint and the softness. Okay. Zoom in. Zoom in. So let me go ahead and go with this next book. Oh, Julie, you haven't seen the half of it. I mean, those are just a few pencils that are on, trust me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and outline this book here. Yeah, I didn't show you. You only saw a sliver of it. Okay. Now, you guys know that I'm always, what do we always say? What's our 3Ds? Somebody rattle those off for me. All right, blend your pencil. I know you guys know this. The 3Ds. Diet, dimension, and drilling. Let's try again. What do I always talk about? Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and blend this just a tad. Yeah, throw up on it. Yeah, that's a potential issue. Luckily, my cats leave my studio alone. Depth, what is it? Dimension, detail, and I just said it. Depth, dimension, and detail, right? Donut, donut, donut. That too. Okay, let's get semi-serious here for one moment. Everybody see now. dark chocolate. Okay, now once you've laid your paint down, which is what's creating that background, is you can go over it now and shade it the way that you want to shade. Now, watch this, guys. So I put down my background here with my paint, and now I'm going through and I'm going to shadow on top of it. So the way we can treat this paint is, see, we can go ahead and put this layer on top, and I'm going to take my blender pencil and blend that in. See that? And the neat thing about this paint is that it's not scraping up. That's what I wanted to show you. And then I'm going to take my Tombow or my Pentel eraser and erase down the center. And you see how that's really popping up now. Look at that. So sorry, excuse me. Yes, we could still re-energize that paint. Yes, ma'am. Zoom out. Everybody see that? Look at the depth now that we're getting between these books now. Absolutely, we could re-energize that paint. I want to do this third book, and then I want you to see how that stack is going to look. So I've got a nice turquoise going there. Melba, you still with us? Oh, not that color. So now I'm going to go ahead and tint over this paint. And I also want you to notice that you can blend over it beautifully. zoom in. So Stacy, I'm going to show you that about re-energizing the paint because I don't like these streaks at the moment. So I'm going to take my brush You see what that's doing? Look at that, Stace. So if you have streaks in there that you don't like, you can go ahead and fix that, which is what I'm doing now. Does that answer your question, Stace? This paint is very, very forgiving. The pencil is paint. Well, yeah, the pencil, I don't know, it hasn't really moved too much, but it lets you do a lot of stuff. And see, I'm getting a nice streak look on this book. Which is giving me that nice weathered look. Zoom out. Does it wipe out your pencil? Well, Julie, that's going to depend on your colors. In this case, my paint was a light color, so it really didn't wipe out my pencil. The pencil, because it was on the bottom, actually added to it to make it look cool. Zoom out. You just got to experiment with it. Okay, now I'm going to let that dry a second, and then I'm going to show you one more thing, and then I'm done. But oh my gosh, guys, look at this. Is that not drop dead gorgeous? I'm sure that Maddie is drooling over this. I'm just taking a sip of water and letting this dry. It works up very fast. The best way that I can describe this gouache is think of it as a liquid colored pencil. Does that make sense? I wanted a really nice look, light look. I wanted to paint outside the lines, which I did. I wanted to add the layers of color, which I did. And this is no different than using colored pencil. So I don't want people saying, oh, too advanced, can't do that. No, you can. There's no reason why you can't do something like this. Okay, so I'm going to grab my electric eraser if I can find it in this mess. There it is. I mean, my desk is so full, I've got stuff sliding at me right now. I have got to clean up. Okay. Zoom in. Zoom in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my electric eraser and I'm going to put in my highlight line in the center. And then wherever I accidentally erased out this blue line. So I'll go back in and then blend that in with blue instead of purple. I am having a ball with this. I'm so tickled. Oh my gosh, I got a landslide of stuff. And the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky. What is love? Okay, and then zoom in. And then you can go ahead on this. And we'll go ahead and shadow the footies. Right? My cats are going nuts because I got the lid of my paints on the floor. Zoom out. So you know what they're playing in. And then what I'm going to do is almost done. I'll clean up these legs a little bit. Now, I've got a little bit of paint in an area that I don't want it. So what I'm going to do is just gently see if I can scrape that off. Yeah, we can do that. Just a little bit. There we go. Now we've got that sock showing. Melba, I'm going to go in 2 seconds. Sit tight. Please. Zoom out. Zoom out. What do you guys think? Melba, what do you think? Zoom in. Zoom in. So we've got a combination of the gouache paint and this paint that I put on my little palette here, which is completely dried. See these little dots here? I actually didn't use this. So these 2 dots, a week from now, I can add water to that and use that paint. And that's why I'm going to go ahead and put my paints into these little tins. Because ideally, there we go. I should be using my paints out of these tins. And these little white things, they're magnetic, and so they won't pop out on you. And I'll probably find a way to label them so I know what colors they are. Okay. Any questions or comments before I go? I really, really hope you had fun with this. I hope you learned something. Well, you guys really got your money's worth tonight. You learned how to make somebody look old. And we learned about gouache paints. Now, one last comment. If you don't have the paints, you could do all of this with your pencils. Okay? So don't go getting discouraged on me. Fun. All right, as soon as I sign off, I will put everything on the 2 tins and the gouache paints on the affiliate list. Please, if you're going to buy, please, please, please use that list. Melissa, good to see you. Glad you could stay. I had way too much fun tonight. Wanda, you were awfully quiet. Alright guys, this is ILene Vick for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. I hope you had fun. I hope you had half as much fun as I did. Looking good. Alright guys, joyous, joyous, joyous coloring. Stay safe. Have a good evening. Bye.